Hi, today we're going to talk about how to triple your response rate without changing what you mail. Now, whether you're in regular direct response, direct mail, or internet marketing, it really doesn't matter. The same principles apply to both. Whether you're sending out an email to a list or postal mail, it's really the same principles apply. There are two general categories in the direct marketing industry that we talk about, and one is business to business, or B2B. The other is business to consumer, or B2C. How you're going to triple your response without changing what you mail is going to have to do with the list. The list is the single most important part of a direct mail or direct response campaign. And the reason for that, just think for a moment, if you were trying to sell steaks to vegetarians, how well do you think you would do? Not very well. So the list is critical because if you mess that part up, the rest doesn't matter. But now, in today's technology, we have the ability to do something called profiling. And we can do predictive modeling. We can do all kinds of cool stuff to define who our customers are. Now, some of this kind of analysis can be very expensive, and you need a lot of records, but they can do what's called appending data to a record. So say you have a list of people, and all you have is their name and address. Well, they can append hundreds of other variables to each of those records. Then they can analyze, using advanced math, all of those criteria, compare them to your customer list, and determine which are the predictive factors. That then allows you to get a list of people like your customers. Now, in a real simple example, I used to have a direct mail catalog company, and we sold products to doctors, dentists, and hospitals. And what we sold was little kid stickers for the waiting room, keep the kids from crying, give them a sticker. Well, one of the things I found in just doing the very simplest level of this, we compared our customers by state. And obviously, you're going to see you have more customers in California than you do in Maine. But that's just the first step. We take how many customers we had in each state, and we compared that to how many medical offices there were in each state. And now we have a proportionate number. What I found from that is that some states had a 10-time better response than others. And when we went to run a list to try to get more customers, we just didn't mail into the states we knew didn't work. Now, that is the very, very simplistic example, but our response rates tripled because we figured out what areas were more likely to be customers. In the business-to-consumer marketplace, the simplest thing you can do there is go by income. And they have there's a category called deciles, which just means a tenth. And you can have your list segmented into those 10 sections based on income level. You can also do that with the list you're renting. And one of my friends who is really, really good direct marketer says, start out testing the top decile, because if the people who have money aren't going to buy, the ones that are broke certainly aren't. So there are also a couple resources I wanted to tell you about. One is Standard Rate and Data, and that is srds.com. This is a directory of all the mailing lists available for rent. There are like 60,000 of them that have up to millions of people. It's an invaluable resource. It is expensive. You can also go to a website called Nextmark and search mailing lists for free. And anyway, one of my mentors, Gary Halbert, who has since passed away, is one of the best copywriters ever. He used to say, get the printed version of Standard Rate and Data, and this is 2 huge books, 1,000 pages plus each. He said, and read them. What he's talking about there is to look through the lists that are available, because that is your market. These are like buyer's lists. Now, there are 2 kinds of lists. There's the compiled list, which is data compiled from a phone book or other public sources, and there are response lists. Response lists are people who bought something. This Standard Rate and Data book is all about response lists. You can learn a lot about your market and even find out how big it is by looking at what they call the 90-day hotline, or the last 3 months of buyers. Multiply that times the average order, and then 4 times that, and now you have that company's annual sales done through that, of whatever list that was. So you can find out how big a market is that way by going through the different competitors and doing the arithmetic like that. And there's one more resource I want to tell you about, and that's called Who's Mailing What. And I'll put the websites underneath this video, but Who's Mailing What is an archive of all the emails being sent, all mail order promotions being sent, and they add 20,000 email broadcasts per month. So you can get copies of what everybody is doing in each market, and you can also find out what's working and what's not. There's a term in the industry called a control, and that means that's your base mailing package or email that you're using, and then when you test other things against it, you're trying to beat the control. Because this Who's Mailing What service gets everything that's mailed, they know that if they get something more than once, that's the control, and that's working. And we can find out then what emails are working, what direct mail programs are working, and all of that just by accessing this online database. Now, this is expensive too. It's about $1,000 a year, which is about the same of what SRDS is. But there's an amazing amount of information out there just for asking. You find out what works and what doesn't. How cool is that?